Okay, you recognize these chords? We just did them a couple of lessons ago with the rock doo-wop changes, and it's that what I gave you a little music theory lesson. This is the 1 chord, the 6 chord, and in here you're not. And then you have the D minor, which is the 2 chord, and the G7, which is the 5 chord, 5/7, or dominant 7th chord. It's kind of an important term to know eventually, but you have to understand it, and that's too much to get into right now. So you can look it up, dominant sevenths, that's a particular kind of 7th chord. But anyway, and then you have the F chord at the end. And remember, the shapes are very similar, from C to F and C to G7. C, F, C, G7. Now here, instead of going C, A minor, D minor, G7, it's C back and forth to A minor twice, and then D minor to G7 twice. Now in the book, there is a typo in the fingering of the D minor. I've got fingers 1, 3, and 2. It should be 1, 4, and 2. Pinky on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, so that your 3rd finger is free to jump onto the bass note of the G7. So keep the 3rd finger up in the air so it can target going to that G7. And that's why we would use the pinky on the D minor instead of the 3rd finger. Sometimes you use the 3rd finger. You know, like if you're doing some passing tones that require other fingers, the pinky to play another string. Yeah, so chords are not, fingerings are not written in stone to where you just have to, to where you think of 1 fingering for a C chord, 1 fingering for an E chord or whatever. Sometimes you can finger some chords up to 5 or 6 different ways, even the same voicing of the chord. And then there are innumerable different voicings of the same chord. There's infinite numbers of ways of playing a C chord. That's a C chord, this is a C chord, that's a C chord. Actually, it's a D chord because I've got the capo at the 2nd fret, but I'm thinking C chord. And that's the way you want to think with the capo. Don't try to transpose and think, oh, well, it's really a D chord, but it really is. But anyway, so we have, now with this one, we're mixing up the strums, which makes it much more, musical and gives you much more variety, even just doing 2 different strums. In this page, we have actually 3 different strums because the turnaround at the end is different. But make sure you understand the strum, and you could just try downstrokes with a pick while you're counting the rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. That's the first measure. And then the second measure has a tie. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. And so when you strum the chord, and what I would suggest is just stay on the C chord for a while and just do the first measure rhythm until you get to know it really well. Down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down. Just keep repeating that for a few minutes. Okay? And then on the A minor chord, it's, again, it's 1, and 2, and tie, and 4, and. So it's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. And when you hit the note that's the tie, you want to emphasize it a little bit. If you noticed in the beginning, when I was really hitting that offbeat tie, that syncopated rhythm, pretty loud, it's like, so the picking, the strum is down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And when you go down, down, make the second down when you do the 2 downs in a row into the tie. The second downstroke is accented, it's heavy. So it's sort of light, 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 heavy, light, 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 you know, like that. Down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. Okay? And you may not want to hit it that heavy as I was just doing, but it might be good to exaggerate it when you first practice it. And you might want to hit it that heavy. I like it, you know. So it's... And there I was accenting the first note of the measure down, 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 down. So that's a good thing to do too. And so practice each chord individually and really get to know the 2 rhythms, the 2 main rhythms, and then try going just back and forth from C to A minor over and over and over again. Like do it for, you know, for a long time until someone in your household complains. Okay. I think he's going nuts. He's just doing 2 chords over and over again. And then try D minor to G7, which is a little harder chord change. It's a little more challenging. Sorry. You know, just practice that back and forth. Maybe just practice with the left hand only, keeping the first finger on the 1st fret as you go from G to D minor. That's one of the toughest chord changes in this book, really. And and then remember the shape of the C going to the F. The 2nd and 3rd fingers keep the same shape, and also the same shape going to the G7. 2nd and 3rd really don't change shapes. You do move across the street, and then you move back, and then across the street the other way, you know. So you're going from 5th Street to 6th Street, back to 5th Street to 4th Street, you know. Okay, all right. So I'm going to do it again, and just for the heck of it. 1, 2, ready, go. If you can make up a melody and some words, you'll be the hit of the next party you're at, you know, with this chord progression. And don't forget to repeat the first 2 lines. So you'll go to the end of the 2nd line and go back to the beginning and repeat. I think it sounds good that way. It's fairly short, so that's what you want to do. All right, have fun with it.